Greetings from the Eccentric Man, and today we're at Bridge Too Far, and it's setting up time. They couldn't get into the building before last night, so it's frantic table setting up. We'll start off at 10, and what's the time now? 20 past 9, so plenty of time. I think we've got possibly 80 players here today, and setting up all the tables. So yeah, because there's a few more tables to still be set up, but it's going along. My opponent this morning is Gaz. You've seen him from the podcast.
Hello.
And his British Army home defence. Some nice little bits of difference there. I'll do a little bit later on, but what we've got there is our home defence. Lots of commandos and some universal carriers, Bofors gun. Yep, and a little Vickers tank. So it should be interesting. As you say, if you've seen my channel before, you'll know what I'm taking. Taking my 1941 Italians. This is what Gaz set up to do the 41 challenge. So that's what I've run for. I'll put a slide up which has got what's what. So yeah, well, let's go. We're going to have a look at the prize fund. Some of the trophies for today. It won't show very well on the video because they're transparent. But there we go, that's how they are. Steve looking very relaxed, as he should be. Yep. So they're the trophies, looking very nice. And then we'll have a little look at the prize support. So just a little bit of prize support. There's the table. That's looking rather good, isn't it? And I think he's put forward, everyone gets a prize. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Everyone gets a prize again this year, which he wasn't sure was going to happen, but has. And I think we've got the Battle in the Berlin box as the raffle prize. No, that's the first prize. That could be the first. Well, who would not take that as a first prize? Look. Yeah, Steve will take a Sherman over the Battle for Britain, Berlin. That's probably right. Is there a Sherman there? Oh look, there's one there.
There's a decent Sherman.
And there's a Rubicon Sherman over there. Yeah, so cracking prize support again from all the traders and people. So really phenomenal. Wander around and looking at some of the tables that are set up. We've got a little desert one. That's quite nice. Onto the end table. We've got the steps, Russian steps possibly, with the snow and the radar centre, looking good. I've put a jungle table up for people to play on. Using my cigar box mat and a hill underneath. So yeah, that's the jungle. Farmland over here. As I say, they're still trying to set up as we go. This one still needs to be set up. Looks like a deserty table there. And then we've got nicely set up townscape. I do like that mat. It's a good mat, that one. Citadel in the middle. Get you dizzy as we spin round. Yep, another desert one. And into another desert. Oh, I like that mat. That's probably tiny terrain mat. Is it that one? That's got nice. It's much yellower. The lights really affect the colouring from the iPad camera. So yeah, another town one with the church. Nice bits and pieces. There is a prize because people are bringing their own tables and putting them up, and there is a prize for the best table. Won't be mine, but there we go. Yeah, beach assault. Probably won't be, but looking good. Yeah, you can see how the colour changes, sort of. Yeah, so that's nice and that's sort of brownier, but we move over and it then starts to get lighter because of the setup. But yeah, cool. That's quite an open one. Oh, I suppose we've got a couple of stands of trees, hedges, and a snowy table, which is good. Table I'm playing with Gaz is over here. A bit more to get on it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we've seen those ones. Another camp to fight over. More ruins. Another jungle. There's a jungle out there. Yep, more jungles. Still working on these tables. Put a bit more there. Yep, rocks and trees and houses. Big house. Cool, there's some big edges. Oh dear, oh dear. Bocage. Bit of bocage.
That's like,
Slalom driving. Yep, I'm running through. Got here a U-boat dock and ruins.
it is, yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you to it.
Last run of tables. I say it's the biggest bolt action tournament in the world. Hello, Colin. Another church and ruin. This is the Monty man. Monty and his French. You've seen this in one of the last battle reports that I played part from. He's added in another Char B1.
Yeah, well, you can't have more than, you just can't have enough.
And his horrible little FT tanks. Yep, there's some more buildings and rocks. Into another jungle. Quite a few of these Sarissa jungle buildings. Yep. That one might block line of sight. Yeah, it might block line of sight. And of course, there is a random dice roll every turn. See whether it moves up and down. Nah, I'm teasing. Teasing. Yeah, and if the shell goes off, you can't see nothing on the table for the whole turn. For those of you who have not seen my army, I've been trying to tinker with it over the last few months, and this is the final army list. It's Italians, 1941. For the armour, I've got a 1440. It's a light tank with 8+ armour. I've got the Auto Belinda, 7+ armour with a light auto cannon. I went for the Auto Belinda. I've been playing with the L640 one-man turret tank as the armoured car choice, but it was too unreliable, so I subbed that out and then brought in the Auto Belinda. Got a truck to carry some infantry for reserve moves or outflanking. Got a second lieutenant, veteran, flamethrower team, veteran, sniper team, regular. I've got 2 regular 8-man units. They're all rifles and 1 LMG in each section. I've got 2 Folgore units, the parachutists, Italian parachutists. They're stubborn, 5 men in each with submachine guns. I've got a medium mortar with a spotter, and I've got a medium howitzer with a spotter. I needed the 2 big sort of infantry sections, big to me, 8-man, to hold objectives or to move into areas and last a little bit longer. The veteran stubborn paratroopers are there to hold objectives, get in there first, go down and hold them. If it's an objective scenario, if it's one where I need to outflank or reserve, outflank, there'll be the 2 paratrooper units, possibly 1 and the flamethrower in the truck, 1 to come on foot. Depends, could both come in the truck with the flamethrower. Or if it's in reserve, I've got the truck off board and I've got the 2 parachutist units off board and the flamethrower. They can normally deal with anything that comes on outflank to get my objectives. They're pretty hard hitting with the 10 machine gun shots and the flamethrower. Anti-tank wise, it's a little bit limited. I've only got the 4+ on the tank and 2+ pen on the autocannon. I've put the howitzer in. It's part infantry killer, but it's also quite useful against vehicles. It's only penetration 3, so normally anything 9, it's glancing on a 6. However, if I get a hit, there's a possibility for D3 pins, and that's quite a good rescue. If you can put 3 pins on a tank, 2 pins on a tank, you've got a chance it fails. 1 pin, yeah, it may not. But if you don't pin, you don't get a chance for them to take a leadership test. The mortar, so again, the medium howitzer can fire indirect as well, of course, so it can deal with things that are on the backboard. I've got the medium mortar with spotter, likewise. I had to go down the route of a regular sniper just to fit the things in. No machine gun on the truck, just because of cost prices, and it runs out just under 1,000 points. It's been not too bad as an army. You have to be very careful with it. You can't afford to go 3 dice down because that -2 penalty kicks in. However, it's not a bad little army really, if you are careful and you play it for the objectives. So that was the army that I was taking, and first up I was going to be against Gaz Defid Walsh, who instigated the 1941 challenge, and I'm playing his British Home Defence Force. Forget the ideas of commando, forget the ideas of Home Guard and Dad's Army, because it's a pretty tough commando force with other troops who are also veterans. So we'll go into the first game. First game is going to be Attrition, as I say, playing Gaz. I've got this side, he's got that side. We're playing Ruins, block line of sight, hard cover over the footprint, so should be interesting. I'll go through his list at some stage. It is quite a hard list for a home defence list. To my right, you may recognise this person. This is Paul Walker from warhq.co.uk. I got it, didn't I? warhq.co.uk. Yes, we're good. So yeah, he's playing next to us, so that'll be a bit of banter coming from the side.
There will be.
And
serious banter.
And what are we playing today?
We're playing the called out cheesy list.
Oh, you're playing Russians?
Oh, Japanese.
Oh, Japanese today.
1937 list.
Oh, yeah.
2 armoured cars, 2 medium howitzers, 3 snipers.
Oh, loads.
But I haven't got Warlord criticised for not getting me my flame tank in time. So I'm playing about 120 points short. So I feel as though I've regained the moral high ground.
No flame tank. You should have said, and I could have lobbed you a Stuart 3.
Oh, I've got plenty of Stuarts.
Oh,
Don't
right.
worry, I've got plenty of Stuarts. But you can't take them in a 1937 list.
Oh, no, right, okay then. Oh, I couldn't help you with that one then. So, this was Gaz's army. If you can see here, he's got at the back 2 units of 8-man commandos. He's got 2 little trucks. He's got a Vickers with light autocannon. He's got 2 universal carriers. Well, one's a universal carrier for transport and one in the armoured car slot. He's got the Blackguard Bombard there as his mortar. He's got a sniper team, a flamethrower team, and 2 units of what are called native irregulars. They're from in the British rulebook, and he's using those as the troops that were dotted around the country as sort of specialised partisans, and he's formed units, and they are veteran and have forward deploying, and can also in the first turn apparently go through rough ground without any penalty, so they could move 12 inches in the first turn. So that's quite an interesting little unit. The only thing missing here is his heavy autocannon, which is the 40mm Bofors gun. So it was quite a hard little defence of Britain army. Not your normal Home Guard thoughts. Board here, Ruins with a train in it. I've seen this one on War Thunder. I've played this one. War Thunder, thanks. Yeah, that was a cracking table. But did you play on it?
He did. It's great.
Yeah, good one.
Was it friendly to wheeled vehicles?
No. Did you win?
No, this is mine the loss. Just right at the end.
Oh well, mine a loss. Not too bad. Well, was that the miscreant who got the win?
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah.
Yep, the main point of the whole thing was the engineer squad. I'm sure he's told you.
Yeah.
4 guys took on 5 of his. 3 of them, it generated additional attacks with SMG attacks and then failed to wound them.
That's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah. That is actually quite hard. Then again, I annihilated my opponent first time I played in the tournament, first one they ever did. Tabled him, and then my last opponent, I forced him to concede. Well, when you've got a flame tank, you've got
Game 2, and it's pretty historical. I'm playing Danny, and Danny has got his, well, sort of historical, it's American, but it's US Raiders, isn't it? And it's a nice American force. Got a Sherman, some Raider troops. I'll get a better picture of it at the end of the game. But yep, playing on a Italian airfield with the Italians. So I'm on the roll to be defender, and I've set up 2 defensive positions. The objectives are 18 inches in, and we can deploy up to 24. So 1 unit of Fulgor are in the building, well, in the walls. This one is a bit open at the moment, so we'll see how we can go with that. And then we've got the dice ready to start. There's a preparatory bombardment in this scenario which comes in automatically, so I've got to get my head down. So see you later. Sadly, I didn't get a picture of Dan's army, but this is one of Gaz's vehicles. Yeah, Dan's army. He had 2 8-man units of veteran raiders, 3 8-man units of normal marines. He had an officer, he had a medium mortar, he had a medium machine gun, and he had a Sherman tank. That was his list. Yeah, I think that was it. So quite a bit of heavy firepower that he could lay down during the game. So that was Dan's army. So end of the game, went into turn 7, and it was fighting over the objectives. Managed to sneak this one. The tank killed the unit that was on there, and then the paratroopers and the flamethrower came out. Nearly got me on this one. I managed to get the officer there as well, just in case, and the infantry just lasted. And again over here, the infantry just managed to hop out, took out my little paratrooper that was holding behind the wall. He died, but couldn't remove the people here. They had too many pins to move. Tank was immobilised, and I blocked off here so he could only go 6. So with the auto blinder. So a good game from Dan. There's Dan. Thank you very much. That was a fun game going through there. I was so into turn 3. Been playing James. It has been a cracking, hard-fought battle, hasn't it? This one, down to the last roll of the dice, and fortunately, I managed to survive with the paratrooper guy. James could have had it and could have disputed it, but he still gets a minor win. It wouldn't have made any difference, would it? Yes, it probably would have done. Yeah, a minor win. This one is disputed. I'm holding 1, 2. James is holding 2. Gives James a minor victory because he'd duffed up many more of my units than I got of his. So yeah, excellent. Gives me a minor win, major win, minor loss. What have you done today, James? Major win. Minor win. Minor win. Excellent. So that's a good 3 games of wins. Once again, as you can see by this photo, I failed to get James's army in a picture. So it was a bit sad because it was a nice winter German one. Just going through from memory what he had. So he had a second lieutenant and his mate. He had a sniper. He had a Nebelwerfer, which I tried to avoid like the plague. He had a medium mortar. Yeah, interesting. Medium mortar and a Nebelwerfer. He only had 1 NCO though. So it must have been some sort of theatre selector, I would hazard a guess. Yep, he had a Panzer Sparwagen, which is the light anti-tank French captured armoured car. He had a Panzer 3L. He had a heavy car with a pioneer squad with flamethrower and a couple of assault rifles. And a flamethrower, of course. And another pioneer unit, again with flamethrower and a couple of assault rifles. And then he had 2 other units of assault rifle here, regular grenadiers. I think that was about it. Yeah, that was it. That was the German army. So quite a tricky German army to play against. Quite a bit of anti-armour and some hard-hitting pioneer units. So I was very pleased to hold it to a minor victory, and as I say, I almost scraped a major win on it. But yeah, a good guy, James. A real hard-fought game. Yeah, so overall, quite pleased with the day. I managed to get a minor win against Gaz, a major win against Dan's Americans, and James' Germans. I did only manage to get a minor loss. I say only managed to get a minor loss. It was key positions, and we were both holding 2 objectives. However, he had killed more units than mine, which gave him the minor win. It was very close. I managed to just get it to a minor win for him by holding 2 objectives. Managed to hold the last objective to give me 2 on the last throw of the last turn. It was really close. It was a hard-fought game against his Germans. How did the army do? Well, much as I thought it would. I've got to be quite defensive in the first few turns, trying to set up. Got to play to the objectives with the Italians. You've not got a great leeway if you start losing troops, so you've got to be very careful with them and try to use the cover to your best advantage, and not lose troops very quickly. So yeah, they worked well. The artillery piece, the medium howitzer, did its job. In 2 games, it pinned them to a standstill. Some of the tanks. Giving me a bit of breathing space. The auto blinder knocked out a couple of gun teams, and was also always a worry for people because of the 2 auto cannon shots. Mortar, got a couple of 6s through the day, which was quite good, but did put pressure on people. Paratroop units worked very well, and the infantry units were quite good for support. Flamethrower team. It's a mixed bunch. I lost them again, and you lose a dice. I run them up, they missed, run out of fuel, and they're off the board. And that's a dice gone. So they're good, but they are a bit of a glass cannon. Worst unit of the game, the sniper team. Killed first turn, first game. Second game, didn't hit on the 5 times that I could fire him. Third game, didn't hit the 3 times I could fire him. Didn't hit, didn't kill. Well, yeah, did hit, but didn't kill. What a waste that one was, but sometimes it's very useful. So overall, yeah, good for the Italians. Worked well. There was only 2 Italian players. I finished the highest, and I finished in a place 24. I finished, which I was very pleased with. Going 13 going into this third game, but again the minor loss did for me. But there we go. You still got a prize at this competition because, as you saw in the video, the prize fund was phenomenal. 78 players and each person got a prize. I'll post up a picture of what I chose. There's a little scenario that I have in my head, and let's have a look at what I've got, and you can see what I've got in mind. My choice from the prizes was the Royal Navy Infantry section. This will go for my Op Sea Lion army that I'm putting together, and for my sort of scenario. But one of the scenarios that I'm interested in doing is, I was reading a book about deception and camouflage in World War I and II, and there's a little story about Sir Winston Churchill when he went up to view the fleet at Scapa Flow, and he arrived there by night, and on his journey up there he saw a large searchlight beacon away in the hills, and he thought it was sending messages out, and he thought it was a spy. So he went to the naval dockyard, got a section of naval infantry, went to the building up in the Grouse Moors, or the moors, or the Scots Highlands up there. Lack of Scottish geography, which is really sad. And what he saw was a big stately home, and on top of this big stately home there was this great big searchlight. Got into the building, got into the stately home, and up to the laird. And Churchill was convinced that the laird was a spy and was sending out information about the fleet in Scapa Flow. However, what the laird was actually doing is he used the searchlight to shine on his land so that the deer's eyes and the stag's eyes would shine, so that his gillies, the gamekeepers, would be able to kill and shoot them. And that's what it was. But what it did do was, to Churchill, it brought home the vulnerability of Scapa Flow, and after that there was a lot more security put in place to make sure that there was no prying eyes looking in onto the fleet. So that's why I went for the Navy section, because that can be a good little scenario. I've got the Winston Churchill figure that came through from, I think it was Warlord, wasn't it? So I've painted him up with his Tommy gun, and he could be leading the section up to the house. The overall winner of the tournament was James Faulkner, and he's a friend of mine, which is really good. He managed to do 3 major wins, the only person to get 3 major wins on the day, and took first place, so well done, James. He had a Russian army, not the one actually in the picture. I didn't have an opportunity to take a picture of his, but so I thought I'd put this one in there. Russian cavalry. Yeah, interesting one there. But yeah, good win by him, so well done. He's only been playing for about 1.5 years, 2 years maximum, I think, so well done, James. Finishing off then, because it's been a bit of a long video, I'm just going to go through some of the armies that were on show at the event. So here we've got a nice little British Operation Sea Lion army. There was quite a few of these around, but he's used trucks, painted them up in some civilian colours, gone for the early war, well really early war, armoured car, home guard unit, cricket team, local defence volunteers, very nicely themed within that one. The next one we move on to is a German Desert Africa Corps. I looked at this one and it's very nice. It's got a couple of Panzer IIIs, well, a couple of Panzer IIIs. It looks like it's a tank platoon. So we've got 3 Panzer IIIs, truck for the infantry, motorcycles, and an 88 as well. So transports for the infantry and the 88. That's a nice themed German. Not quite sure how well it did. The next one that's coming up is by Mike Wilkins, who won the event last year, but he put something different in this year, and it was the French Resistance. And if you're in the UK and you're of a certain age, you will remember Allo Allo, and Rene and Michel and all the characters from the TV programme, and that's what he represented here. He even had Madame Fanny, I think it is, the old lady, the granny, in the bed, and the bed had a rifle pulling out from it. But not only that, he had in the house the theme tune playing in the house. Yeah, outstanding really. And he won Best Themed, which is not surprising really. It really was a fun army to see, and I wish that I'd played it, but didn't get an opportunity in this game. A British North Africa 1942 British Army, and you can see a squadron of Stuart 3s, a Vickers light tank, some LRDG vehicles, so probably a mixed reinforced platoon and tank platoon. So yeah, I can see the Jeep in the background, so yeah, very nicely done, painted, and a nice little display board. That was one thing this year. There was more effort going into display boards by everyone, so that was nice to see. Next up, another North Africa one. This one looks like a dual platoon to me, and also very interesting historically. If we forget the 3 Stuarts, or whatever, how many Stuarts at the front, you've got the 2 German trucks at the back. This was a special interrogation group raid. Very famous raid. German-speaking commandos, Palestinian commandos. Some of them, well, German refugees. They were Jewish refugees, and they, with the Free French and some other SAS, planned to take 2 trucks, pretending that they had British prisoners of war, go to airfields and blow them up. Unfortunately, one of the trucks was given up by one of the German prisoner of war's drivers, and the crew were captured and some killed. Some did manage to escape. The other truck did successfully go on into the airfield and raid it. But yeah, very nice, interesting, historical little point there. This army is by my friend Rob, and this is his German army, but it's Hydra themed, and he's done conversions on all of the heads of the Germans, and on the figures, and on the Panzer III, I think it is, or 4, to try and make it look like a tiger. I'm not sure he actually took it as a Panzer IV. I think he possibly took it as Panzer III. Can't remember. I didn't face it, but it was very nicely themed. This was the other contender for best themed army, but the Allo one just took it. Rob did very well. He came 8th out of the 78, and he was 3rd highest Axis player, so well done, Rob. Some of you may be aware of Sam from Down Order podcast, and this is his army that he took. He's got regular infantry, he's got a Nebelwerfer and an elephant. He decided to take it. He'd been painting it up and decided that he liked it, and he entered with this huge beast, and I think over the course of 3 games, I think he managed to kill a chaplain with it. That was about it. Yeah, brave, foolish, crazy. That's what I reckon. So well done, Sam, for having the balls to take something like this to a Cam's Bridge too far. Going to be interesting to see what you bring next time. Last army, but by no means the least. This is Tom Harlan's army. If you've seen my battle reports, you will have seen that I had a game with him about a week or 2 ago, when we were testing out his army. And in the meantime, he's changed it up a little bit and brought in the I can't remember the name of the half track with the 3 guns. The grill? No, that doesn't sound right. But he with his army here and the board and the way it's set it up, he got best painted, which I think was a really spot on choice, and very nicely put together army, nice put together board, nicely painted figures, excellent, and nice to see it go to a member of the Landseer Lost Ark games bolt action players. So that was really nice. Well done, Tom. Well, that's about it from the Cam's Bridge Too Far. I know that Steve Tibbs, who runs it with his friends from 2D6 Lodge, will be looking to do the same again next year, but to get it bigger. They're going to try and look for a venue that's going to be able to take more. So 78 people this time. They were hoping for an 80. Next year, probably looking for 100. So just to keep it the world's biggest bolt action tournament. So look out for it for next year. The tickets go very quickly. If you haven't been to a tournament before, this is a good one to go to. It is a nice friendly one. Check it out. There's other podcasts. Call to Duty. Have a look at warhq.co.uk. Paul Walker, he'll be putting some bits and pieces up. It's a good one to get to. This was my first one, and I'd only been playing bolt action for a couple of months, and we went off to it, and that was 2016. So yeah, please do. So thanks very much for watching. Please share if you would like to any friends who fancy it, and also give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you hasn't. And I'd also like to thank those people who came up to me in the tournament and said that they liked the battle reports and really enjoyed them, and thanked me for doing them. So that's really nice. It keeps me keeping going and knowing that people are enjoying and watching the videos. So keep your ears peeled and your eyes open. Ears peeled? eyes peeled, ears open, and I'm looking at 500 subscriber mark, and I'll be doing a giveaway prize on the YouTube channel. So please keep watching and listening and watch out for that. So take care and speak to you soon.